I think this is your second time into a war film, and I wanted to know if you wanted to set this particular film apart from the rest of the war films.
Yeah, you want every movie you make to be different, to be different from, and you're always looking for the perfect way to tell a story. And, at the end of the day, I was aware that by doing it in one shot, it would naturally be different. So yes, I suppose.
How did you want to set this film apart? In what particular aspects?
Well, every film is different. I wanted to make something original. You always want to make something original. I wanted to feel like I was locking the audience in to an experience that they couldn't escape, couldn't get out of in a way. They experience every second passing on the clock with the men and step every step with them and breathe every breath with them and feel the movie, experience it as much as see it.
I think this is some kind of tribute or dedication to your grandfather
Mm-hmm.
in this film. Was it based on any particular story from him?
There was one story he told us. He fought in the war in 1916 to 1918, and he told a story about carrying a message across no man's land. And I just had that image of him. He was a very small man, alone in that big landscape, carrying one message. And I thought, what if we made a whole movie about a man carrying a message? And that was the basis of it. And then we expanded it and developed it, and I read a lot of first-person accounts of the war and letters and diaries, and we made our own narrative. So the movie is because of my grandfather, but it's not about my grandfather.
We see a lead that is filled with loyalty in spite of fear. What person can you think of that may have these characteristics, that may have inspired you? In the traits we see in this main character, like loyalty in spite of fear.
What person?
Today.
I don't think there are many people who behave like the central character these days. I think we're, on the whole, and I include myself in this, selfish and short-term, and so to see men who sacrifice, who understand the notion of sacrifice for something bigger than themselves, I think that's very unusual now. But there was a whole generation once who went to war for something bigger than themselves, and one of the reasons of making this movie is you want people to remember that.
And do you think that thing that made them do what they did, and as they did, not like heroically and fight for something bigger than themselves, do you think we can find something that may be a little bit similar today? For example, the climate summit or what we're doing.
Yes, that would be good. Yes, I think there are great causes now which do unite people, and I think climate is one of them. And that feeling of fighting for the future rather than for the present time, which you felt in that era. I think that's something that we could easily learn from now.
Did you feel any time that shooting in one continuous shot was a risk for you?
Yes, because I couldn't get out of anything. I couldn't escape. I couldn't cut anything out. I couldn't change the focal point of a scene. I couldn't cut a scene. I couldn't. I had to get it right on the day before I could move on. And so it was a big risk when you can't go back. You can't escape. Normally, as a filmmaker, one of the most enjoyable parts of making a film is editing, because it's nice and calm and you can dictate rhythm and pace, but I had no editing at all. So it was a bit scary.
We can see how you recreate terror and even like some disgusting things with the rats, etc. Did you have a specific focus on doing those things to show how terrifying the main character was?
Yeah.
Sorry. Scorsese's mentioned that he was afraid that his movie was going to be, I don't know, brought down because of people watching them in smartphones and small screens. Do you feel the same way?
I don't think. I think every filmmaker hates the idea of making a giant movie and someone watching it on a phone. I mean, I think that is. On the other hand, we have at the same time made these amazing cinemas now. Which is they're comfortable. You can get nice food. You got IMAX and Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos and surround sound. So as a filmmaker, you want your movie seen on a big screen. You want it to. It's not just a visual experience; it's an oral experience. The idea of locking people in the dark for 2 hours, and then watching this movie together is why you make films. So I really hope people come and see it in a cinema.